We begin this half hour with ukuleles. Adapted from an old Portuguese design, ukes have been Hawaii's signature musical instrument since the late 19th century.
Ukes, I've never heard that. Their popularity spread around the world during the jazz age of the 1920s. But to most of us, their true home is in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, which is why you may be surprised to learn where some of the world's best ukuleles are made. Here's Jonathan Vigliotti.
Snowdonia looks as majestic as its name sounds. A Welsh landscape of jagged peaks and cascading waterfalls, where visitors are first greeted by curious sheep, and where on the second floor of a former church, inside a small workshop, a man and his apprentice make music. 60-year-old Pete Hallett is not a professional musician, but the ukuleles he handcrafts have put him on the map. 8,000 miles away in Hawaii, the volcanic islands are the birthplace of the ukulele. And in the Pacific state, Hallett's ukulele is considered one of the best.
What goes on in your mind when you think about your name and your instrument showing up halfway around the world in Hawaii?
Well, I just think it's bizarre.
Bizarre maybe, but when you look at his finished product, you'll understand why.
There is something about making a ukulele that you've either got it or you haven't. You know, you've either got the mojo to do it or you haven't.
Hallett's mojo begins in the wood room, a treasure chest of rare species from around the world. This wood will be molded, chiseled, sanded, and polished to perfection.
When you finally play it for the first time, what goes on in your mind?
They don't deserve this. my wife says, it's painful watching you when your clients come to actually pick up an instrument because you go, here's your instrument.
You're like, give it back to me.
That's right, you know.
Each piece fetches up to $3,000. 30 years ago, Hallett struggled to make ends meet.
So I ran a furniture making and design business for 8 years, sold insurance for 5 years, and it wasn't until 1994 when I lost the business and a local guitar maker said, come and have some therapy and make yourself a guitar.
That guitar would later catch the eye of a Hawaiian ukulele dealer.
He said, but can you make ukulele? And I said, well, I've never seen one.
But Hallett was a quick study and soon outpaced Hawaiians who had other distractions.
Sun's up, surf's up, let's go down to the beach, and you don't get any work done.
Had you ever been to Hawaii prior to making ukuleles?
No, I've never been.
You've never been?
No.
Don't you think it's time to go?
I do.
Hallett has made 725 ukuleles so far and had the goal of 1,000 by the time he's 70. But in 2015, a shaky hand and a visit to the doctors changed everything.
And so I eventually get to see a specialist who in 5 minutes diagnosed me with Parkinson's.
Hallett was told the neurological disease would eventually rob his hands of their craft.
There's two ways of approaching that, isn't it? You either give in to it and then just become a miserable old man, or you say, okay, so this is an opportunity for me to do something completely new.
And that's where Hallett's young apprentice steps in. 2 years ago, Tommy came to the workshop from Germany to intern with the master craftsman.
When was the moment that you knew Tommy was the one?
The day I cried when he left after his internship.
After Hallett was diagnosed, he asked Tommy to come back and help him with his race against time. Tommy's hands will not only help Hallett reach 1,000, they will eventually inherit the business.
I'm really happy to be here. The chance he gave to me and gives me at the moment.
Is finding some way to carry on your legacy like marriage?
Yes, it is.
When Hallett does finally hand over his tools, you'll still find a piece of him in each of his ukuleles. A silhouette of Snowdonia's tallest peak adorns every single headstock. Hallett and his music play on.
To make 1,000 ukuleles and to teach others how to do so, is this your way of taking control of Parkinson's?
Yeah. Saying, you're not going to beat me. When I can't do it, I will be able to show people how to do it. And in that way, I've won. I've really won. Somewhere
For CBS This Morning Saturday, Jonathan Vigliotti, Snowdonia, Wales.
Wow, what a lovely story.
It really is.
And since we shot that story, he's actually won a fellowship from the Winston Churchill Memorial Trust to travel to the U.S. to study how to teach ukulele making. Best news, he finally gets to go to Hawaii.
I'm wondering, though, once he goes to Hawaii, he's not going to want to come back. He's going to, you know what I mean? He'll fall in love also.